Hi everyone, this is Zorina from HealnLearn, and today I have the pleasure to introduce an amazing guest that I met in a synchronistic way, and we're going to tell you the story a bit later. This is Mike Amato. He has been an executive in the banking industry for more than 35 years, and now is in the personal development industry. He actually coaches CEOs and other executives. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you very much, Zorina. It's a pleasure to be here today with you.
You have an amazing life story to tell, but I'm really interested to hear more about your corporate career as well. Can you tell us a bit more first about yourself and then about the learnings from your corporate career, because this is such a long tenure, 35 years, and people have really a lot to learn from you. And before you start introducing yourself, just to mention that you're going to join HealnLearn.com and offer services there for anybody who is on the path of career progression and personal development.
Excellent. Exactly right. Exactly right. Thanks, Zorina. You know, it's really great to be here and support your work there. It's been an absolute pleasure getting a chance to meet you and know what you're all about, and it's going to be fun to watch you grow and hopefully be part of that. Look, by way of background, introduce who I am. So I live in just outside Seattle, Washington, and I've got a portfolio of activities that I do right now. One of the ones that I don't talk about very much, but I own a vineyard and a winery, and so I spend some time on that. But what's fantastic is it's taking off right now, and we've got a lot of award-winning wines. We just won a bunch of awards this weekend, so I do.
Congratulations!
Thank you. Thank you. That's a fact that maybe not many people will know about me, but
next time you come to Europe, bring some wine.
It's a deal. It's a deal. I can do that for you. So I do that. I'm also on the board of directors of a digital startup bank in London. So I go from Seattle to London every month for 4 days. But then I have the other activities that you alluded to, which we'll cover later. Now, my background, though, is maybe somewhat different because I worked 35 years in financial services, or for 35 years in banking without ever becoming a banker. And so when I tell people that, they always ask, well, what does that mean? How can you work at a bank without becoming a banker? And the point is, I refuse to adopt a banker's mindset for the business and to look at the business as numbers. And I've always looked at business about people. And in the large corporate world, it's increasingly more difficult to think of people as being the key driver of the business when the markets and the stakeholders in the board drive a focus on numbers. Mm-hmm. So I remember going back in my career, somebody asked me about my P&L. I said, I'll tell you about my P&L. Now at the time, by the way, at the time, I oversaw a balance sheet of over 100 billion pounds. I had 30,000 colleagues on my team and covered a full range of banking products, including mortgages, investments, and the whole thing. So they wanted to know about my P&L. And I said, I'll tell you my P&L. It's people and leadership, not profits and loss. And they were kind of taken aback. I said, look, it's people. So there's people that buy our products. There's people that buy, and many of the people listening to this, you're going to have people that they're called customers, and they're people. And we design our business to meet or solve a need for these people called customers. So business is about people, first and foremost about customers, but the people that enable that to happen, the people that help us create the products, deliver the products, and service the products are people that work for us. We call those colleagues or employees. So as I mentioned, we had 30,000 colleagues, we had 14 million customers, and to me, that was the P&L. And the question is, I would always ask my team, are we relevant in their lives? Now, that's not a question that many executives will ask. They don't think about it that way. They think because I have my job, I'm relevant because of the standing. I looked at it like we had deserved to be the leader of these customers and colleagues, and you deserve it by being relevant. And you had to think about, what can I do that adds value to their lives, to their certainly professional careers, and a lot of the focus is on what did they get out of it from this relationship. So that's how you work 35 years in the banking business. Luckily, we produced great results, and things worked out very, very well, or I wouldn't have lasted very long. But that's how you work in a bank for 35 years without ever being a banker.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the things that made you relevant? What are some of the values that made you relevant?
Beautiful question. And number one, to be focused on values. See, every organization writes a vision, and then they write a mission. So a vision is what you're going to do. A mission says, what do I stand for? Why do we do what we do? And then underneath that lives your strategy. So how are we going to make this work? As a bracket to the strategy, any organization will put values. So when you say, what are the things, that we would focus on to become relevant? It's actually focus on the collective values, the ones we state in the organization and the ones that we live every single day. And our job as relevant leaders was to manage that gap, to be very cognizant of it and make sure that we were not hypocritical. So I'm getting passionate here, but
no, go ahead. We like passion.
Okay. Well, then I hate hypocrisy. I cannot stand it. And I don't like it when a leader stands up and says, people are our most important resource, and we value people input and we value all these things. And then they go and focus all their time on managing the numbers, managing the shareholders and whatever. But that's hypocrisy. And I don't like that. So if you value, if you want to be relevant as a leader, you manage the gap, or sure there's no gap between what the company says it stands for and how we deliver that every single day. And a good leadership team, it minds the gap, makes sure that we are true to our values, that we practice our values every day, and that they permeate everything that we do. One quick other addition to that is that habits are about people. If they're about people, connecting with them in ways that are relevant to them, and relevant might just be friendship. I mean, relevance comes in lots of forms, but connect with people so that you have a common cause or a common purpose or something in common. Mm-hmm. So the goal of that I would always work with the leadership team on is say, do we really have a strong connection? Can we measure that connection? And by the way, when I go out to visit different business units, I don't want to see their numbers. I want to hear about their connection to you, the leaders. And then I'll know if you're being relevant, if they understand what's important to you and you understand what's important to them. And those two things were ways that we stayed relevant and stayed in touch. It's almost like a physician that keeps his finger on your pulse. Mm-hmm. That's what leadership should do.
Mm-hmm. And how did you convince the rest of the management team to actually follow your approach to people and leadership? Because your approach is rather exceptional. And how did they take you on to begin with and then keep you on board with such radical views? Okay,
so when I joined the team, I invited everybody to come along. Mm-hmm. And my invitation was like this. I want you to understand what I stand for, what the brand stands for, because you don't serve me, you serve the brand. I serve the brand, you serve the brand, and all the people that work for us serve the brand. So I think the best way to do it is by using the philosophies that I've mentioned. Mm-hmm. So I would like for you to sign up and be happy and be here if that's the case. On the other hand, if you find yourself fundamentally disagreeing, if it doesn't work for you, bless your heart. I love that you're honest. Feel free to go and explore a career at a place where the values line up with what you want. I would want you to do that, and let's stay friends. What I don't want to see is don't stay here and be unhappy, because then you make me choose to move you from the business. Because this organization, I look at like a football analogy. We're going to the World Cup. We are going to go with all certainty. I don't know who's on the team yet, though. So please be happy and be here. Be happy and be somewhere else. Just do not be here and be unhappy, because that's going to waste my time, as I will have to ask you to go explore your career somewhere else. And through this invitation, some people accepted, some people didn't, some tried and some failed. But I believe the strength of a manager's message, an executive, a manager, mid-manager, even a beginning manager, it fundamentally is the ability to recruit. If you have the ability to recruit, you need not fear if a top talent person says, you know what, with all due respect, Mike, I'm going to go move somewhere else. And trust me, a lot of very, very talented people did, who are doing phenomenal things today. It's like, bless you, I'm happy for them. They're happy, I'm happy, right? So if you are able to recruit and replace them with talent that matches up with your values, you never need to fear attrition. you never need to fear people who do not accept your invitation to join the organization. So my phrase is, management strength is funded by the ability to recruit. And that's what we did. We replaced ultimately more than half the team over the course of a couple of years. And some went soon, some went later, some went by choice, some went feet first. But at the end of the day, we had people that signed up for it, and the results were stunning. So that's why the rest of the organization said, what did you do? I heard you talking about this, but I really didn't pay attention. What did you do? And so we had launched a program, we branded it, and we had a brand, we had a name for it, and we started calling it that. So other executives in other divisions saw this, and we helped them launch similar transformation initiatives, cultural transformation initiatives with them as well.
Mm-hmm. So after this amazing career in corporate banking, what brought you not in corporate banking, in corporate and in banking, what brought you on the path of personal development? Did you use any of the learnings from your corporate career to apply it?
Yeah. So absolutely. So in a business that's all about people, mm-hmm. and again, I believe all businesses are about people.
Yeah.
Then, and in a business where I think reducing the layers of management between the front line and the executives. So I had a chance to talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people would reach out to me to become a mentor. One of the greatest rewards I received was when somebody, there was a woman selling coffee. I say a woman, she was 22 years old. Mm-hmm. This was in London. She was from, the name of the Latvia, pardon me, she was from Latvia. And I would talk to her every day, and I said, you're outstanding. Why don't you come and work at the bank? And she said, oh my gosh, I could never be a banker. I said, no, that's our job, is to help you succeed. But you have the personality and the wisdom, not wisdom, but intelligence to make it. Come on aboard. So I had a chance to spend some time with her, referred her to the HR team. She got hired at a very entry-level position. Now she's been in the bank for 20 years. So to me, that was so rewarding to mentor somebody and help them launch a career. And I did. There's school children that I talked to in some of the rougher areas of East London. 2 of them now work at Barclays and are climbing the career ladder. This was years ago. So it's phenomenal. And that the reward for helping somebody work through a career challenge, and sometimes it was personal challenge, was far greater than any financial reward I ever received, far greater than any accolades for exceeding our business plan. In fact, I can't remember the business plan now. I remember the journey of the people that I worked with who had the courage to say, hey, Mike, can you help me? Mm-hmm. And I don't care who they were. If they asked me for help, I'm happy to help them. I make time for them. So this began to kind of take my career and go in 2 ways. One way was helping companies focus on their culture and change their culture, because that makes the life of all the workers better. Fundamentally, when values are lined up, when a great transformation program is launched, and the corporate culture becomes your intentional culture, the one that you state to all your investors that you have, when it becomes that, actually, it's phenomenally beneficial for every stakeholder: the regulator, the investor, the community where you serve, the executive team, and certainly all of the people, and that reflects then to the customers. So I love to talk about that, and I do that, and I've done that in Europe, South America, and Africa. I enjoy it, have a big impact when it really works. Now, sometimes it doesn't work because that's really heavily reliant on leadership. Mm-hmm. That made me think of then that's a second thing that I do. It's the one that's getting most of my time and passion now, is I noticed that the corporate transformation is heavily based on leadership. Leaders have to sign up for it. They just can't hire somebody to take care of it for them. They have to sign up for it and fundamentally rethink how they look at the organization. Not every leader wants to do that. Mm-hmm. So I thought about this and thought, if every CEO, and they do, by the way, every CEO and top-level executives has access to a coach and advisors, but the people that the organization really depends on, those middle managers and new managers, have no resources other than their boss, or to get a book, or to find a mentor. Well, why can't we take executive coaching and democratize it? And I want to take executive coaching and bring it to anybody, frankly. And I want to do it in a scalable way. I've been doing one-to-one mentoring, have some clients that have great success. I really love it when I see that. But doing 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 at a time is great. But I want 250,000 people to go through this program that I've created and benefit from it, because it'll help in careers. It helps in launching a new business. It helps in actually relationships and every aspect of your life. It's the same process. So I love to talk about it, and I love to promote both of those businesses. But right now, the notion about starting the democratization of executive coaching and make it available to, hopefully tens and hundreds of thousands of people is something I'm so passionate about, and I'd love to make this grow just as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm. Well, this channel is all about holistic approaches to life and work and love and everything. But so could you give us an example of how your approach helps relationships as well?
Absolutely. It's so funny because I don't know if it's coincidental or what the reason is. I don't try to think about it very much, but 95% of my clientele are women. It just turns out to be that way. Mm-hmm. And I'm passionate about helping women because I think that for women to begin expanding their roles, raise the glass ceiling, and to make their lives what they should be, they probably are underserved in terms of mentors and coaches and resources to help them really understand just how powerful they can become. So maybe I just answered my question, but it's a passion of mine. So 95% of my clients are women. About in the fourth meeting, so I usually do a mentoring program when it's one-on-one, and I'll do it 6 one-hour sessions. And then I say, I'll give you 2 free hours because after 6, you've paid me enough money. Now you're my friend. So I'll give you a couple of free conversations. And invariably in the fourth one, they'll say, I've been so focused on my career. And one woman in particular had got promoted twice in those 4 months. She received a big raise. And we talked a little bit about deciphering there's a game that's going on in a corporation. How do you decipher it? And how do you play it, especially when the people making the rules are not your gender? Mm-hmm. So how do you do that? And so we talked about it, and we had some early success there. In fourth meeting, she says, Mike, I haven't had a relationship in 7 years because I'm just so determined to succeed in this in my professional life. And I said, well, let's take the process that we've gone through and let's apply it to relationships. It was so cool. By the 6th session, she'd met a guy, and she was in a bike riding club, and they found each other at this one event. Just 2 meetings later, because we sent. We changed her energy for the problem, mm-hmm. just like we changed her energy inside the organization, and the solution that came is inevitable. Now she's married. I just found out in April she had a baby. I've got another client who's in a relationship. They're engaged to get married, and it's just, you talk about filling your heart. It's like beautiful. So
congratulations on these achievements. It's really amazing, amazing results. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Now I want 250,000 people to benefit from it. And later on, I want to talk about when it doesn't work, because I don't mean to say that I'm the first person in the world that it always succeeds, and I'm sure not. Mm-hmm. But there's times when it doesn't work as well. So I'll caveat this. But thank you for the congratulations, because it's them doing the work, but it's the process that we've kind of mapped out now that said, you know what? There is really something to this. And whether you want a better career, whether you want a better, healthier life, and whether you want a better relationship, or if you're in a relationship, how to make it more functional. It's the same process. It's the same transformation that sends the same announcement to the universe. Pardon me, some people don't want to speak that way, but it's either an energetic announcement to the universe, it's a vibration, but it's also known scientifically as charisma. Mm-hmm. Your mood, your attitude, you change that, you change everything. And that's what and how to do that is a big trick.
We have an expert on beauty and charisma that works with mindset on HealnLearn.com. So I pretty much know what you're talking about when you're saying charisma matters a lot. Yeah. So would you like to share with us bits and pieces of your program that you've developed on democratizing the executive coaching?
Thank you for asking that. Absolutely. So what I've done is I've got a Facebook group called Why Not You by Mike Amato. And it's named Why Not You because the first step in sort of transforming your career and your personal life and everything about you actually is to say, wait a minute, if somebody else can do it, why not me? Mm-hmm. We see on Facebook all the time or Instagram, rainbows and unicorns saying, you can do anything, you can be whatever you want. We see these inspirational messages. In fact, so much so that we actually cheapen the currency of some of the most best wisdom from the wisest people in history of mankind is now thrown out there like, ketchup on French fries. And so we kind of lose the point of it.
Yeah.
But the point is that if you can see somebody who can paint a picture with his toes, if you see somebody who can have a functional life and be an athlete with no legs or no access to legs, if you see people overcoming enormous difficulties, why not you is where it begins. So that's a clue as to how the program starts. And that's my Facebook page. Now, under Why Not You, so what I did was I went out and I said, I'm looking for 20 volunteers. And I'm going to call them pioneers because I'm going to take the program I've been doing one person at a time. I'm going to bring 20 people through it at the same time. And in the process, create tools that right now will be analog, but they'll be digital soon. And the tools will be something that's quite unique in helping people. The way to look at it is this way. Look, you know, there was 22 million copies of The Secret sold. Okay. There's been tens of thousands of people that go to a Tony Robbins seminar, read his books, look at his work on videos. There's all sorts of life coaches, all sorts of inspirational people looking for messages. And my question always starts is, why isn't every one of them, every person that's bought The Secret, why aren't they rich or in the perfect relationship? Why not? What's happened? And so in a very pragmatic way, this says the whole purpose is to say, let's figure that out and let's design a program that actually takes some of these, not the same methods and not the same words, although some may overlap, but let's say it in a way that resonates in somebody's soul and creates different behaviors and actually helps them apply it. So it's almost an applying focus on helping people land this in their life to actually change their life. So in this process, we've got 20 pioneers. And we're going through a process of 3 webinars where we start with the concept, we go deeper in the concept, and then we're going to create the tools in the next one. Not create the tools, I have the tools, but we're going to distribute the tools. And at a high level, here's what it is. Number one, the mindset for change is crucial. Why not you? If that person can do it, why not you? And if you do it that way, it begins to draw a process of insight. And the words of insight means to look inside. And if you take some accountability that you are where you are, you can't choose your circumstance, but you can definitely choose your response. So how can you look at that and say, gosh, if I am where I am for good reasons and not so good reasons, right? We are the way we are because it serves us. Now, it may serve us sometimes poorly, but it mostly serves us and we've survived. We've gotten to where we are. Well, let's understand that, not going deep into the past, just understanding it and acknowledge it with respect towards that we're actually reasonable people and we actually do almost very, very reasonable things. And reasonable means able to reason. Unless you're clinically insane, you're able to reason and you've arrived at a place in your life for whatever reason, goods and bads and happies and sads. So not judging, assessing. But if you look at this and look at insight yourself, you start seeing the role that you play. So why not you? It can be me. What about me do I need to be aware of? Great, let me be aware of it. Let me take this thing that's the most intimate part of me and pull it out of my body and let me look at it a little bit more objectively. Let me stare at it and assess it. And then start saying, you know what, there's things that I do that are superpowers. There's things that I do that are probably not helpful, derailers. Most performance improvement plans deal with focusing on the derailers. Stop doing these things. Work on this derailing. I say become aware of it and then put them aside. Instead, if you look at yourself as a pie chart, and if only 5% of you or 7% of you, or maybe some people will say, gosh, I think that 40% of me needs to be fixed. Okay, fine. Let's take the 60, let's take the 90, let's take the 95, and let's do more of that and appreciate it and celebrate it. And you actually will consume those parts. You'll be so busy being what you want to be anyways, that you consume the parts of you that you wish were better. Now that leads to the other section then is self-limiting beliefs. Self-limiting beliefs, by its own name and definition, are tremendously powerful things. So in this process of why not you, becoming aware of these insights about yourself, and then looking about how do I expand my superpowers, you can consume the self-limiting beliefs and you can rewrite the story that you play, the program. And the idea is to focus less on the program of where you've been, because as much as I'd love to be a psychologist and help everybody with the challenges with their past and how it impacts them today, I'm not, and I can't pretend to do that. And I don't play one on TV. But what I can do is say, given that, all of our efforts should be focused on here. And how do we create a new future for you? How do we write a new program that's more powerful? And I'll tell you just one more thing about this. Once you do that, and we're going to provide some tools for people to do that, and to kind of maintain that, because you got to stay in that energy and you've got to continually focus on that. Once you do that, then you begin to see things that happen for you in ways that seemed mystical before. And that's the hardest part to understand about the process, is that there's things you can do, and absolutely you want to do those things, and you want to have those insights. But once you do all this work, we're going to create a process where you can start observing how your life changes. And when I'm in the future, and when I am emotionally attached to my future, ideally in a way that's more powerful than the emotional attachment to my past, now you just open up the world of possibilities. And that's what we're designing to do. I want to digitize it. I want to provide some tools and help people become aware. And I want 250,000 people to have a much better life, much better career, much better relationships, by understanding that where they want to go is where they should go. And let's make that happen. And let's make sure that you have the tools to maintain that, and that you attach an emotion to that. And that's kind of the overall view of the structure of the program.
Well, thank you very much for the explanation of the program. Actually, the way I met you is by inquiring about your group. And the way I met you in person was a synchronistic way, what you were just explaining. But before I tell you the story, I just want to insert here a bit of information that I have on the Silva method and how they approach the skills that you have, what you just mentioned as a part of your program, that you focus on the positives that you have and on the parts of life that work for you, rather than on the things that don't work for you. And this was there were studies made already in the 20s and in the 30s in schools in the US. And whenever kids were made to focus on subjects that they were good at, they actually improved across all the other subjects, which I find amazing. So,
that is amazing.
Yeah. So actually there is proof for what you're doing, and it's been done last century already.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and tell me, what year was this?
I think it was, I can't quote the exact year, but the Silva method was developed between the 20s and the 40s. I mean, it kept developing maybe until I think Jose Silva died in the 90s. So it can't be the 20s, but at the beginning, the first half of last century. Okay.
And you told me this story before. I find it so fascinating. And the reason I asked the time frame is because a lot of this stuff is known. You know, we're not inventing new things. We're just applying a lot of things that we knew before. And that the noise, if you think of life as a series of frequencies and things and occurrences, and there's noise in our systems and in our environment. If you think about it, all the noise creates where we are today, and people are trying to sort that out and help people, you know, get through that. Mm-hmm. A lot of this stuff was created. Yeah. And what we do maybe is intuition today. Maybe it's somewhere in my past. Maybe it's something in school came up for me where I had learned about this or whatever else. But I'll tell you what, it just feels right. And I'll tell you, whenever I take what it feels authentically right, it connects to my values and my being. Mm-hmm. Then invariably it's the right direction. Call it intuition. Well, it's funny that there is an actual method and that existed not far before I was born, but pretty far before I was born.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, very cool. So let me tell you now the story how we met. So I was talking to you, inquiring about the program you were starting, because it definitely sounded interesting to me. And then at some point, I actually thought, well, you might be a great guest for the breakfast I'm organizing for International Women Connected, which is a network for women in business and professional industries. It's an international network. And I represent them in Vienna, and I organize breakfasts and get-togethers every month. So I thought, well, you'd be actually a great guest for our breakfast in Vienna. But then I thought it's such a long shot. You live in the US, you were in London at that time, but still, you know, to travel just to attend the breakfast, it's a very unlikely chance. But I still asked you, and you said, you know what, I am actually attending, what was the name of the 15-second festival in Austria the same weekend. which was truly amazing because it's such a coincidence. And you said, I'll drop by, which was amazing. Thank you so much for that. But here's another example of a synchronicity that things just line up without you expecting it. And just the universe puts things together in order for other things to work. And there's a special meaning that we can't explain, can't put in reason.
It's so funny you say that, because number one, it was amazingly synchronistic. Number two, I think, you know, we connected in your approach and your views of your work and your family. I'm just such a big fan. I think you're onto something big, and you're a special talent, and I'm happy to be affiliated with you in any way. So I think that connection was great. I'd never been to Austria before. And then all of a sudden, this 15-second festival speaking about corporate culture comes up, and the next day you have this breakfast meeting. So it's seriously, and the lesson there to me, Zorina, is this. We have a lot of people that are, some people are into mystical, some people are into science, and hey, everybody's right, whatever. That's not my job, is to tell people what they should think. But I did have somebody talk to me one time, and they said, Mike, I'm science-based, and I don't get this whole idea about vibration and attracting what you vibrated and how it comes. That requires faith, I think, and I don't believe in faith. It's like, okay, well, first of all, you're putting yourself into a corner because you know what you're saying is that until science proves it, then it's not real to you. So hang in there. Maybe one day soon science will prove and have an experiment show why this works, and it works, and then you can become a believer. That's great. Secondly, though, it doesn't matter if you believe or not, because if I don't believe in the sun, does the sun not exist? So it doesn't matter. I don't have any attachment to the person's belief. So we laughed about that. But I said that the third and most important thing is that when you talk about things that we do every single day, we accept this idea that we attract what we attract what we sort of vibrationally emit in the universe. We accept the negative. And how do I know? We have phrases. He got up on the wrong side of the bed. Oh, she's got karma coming. Oh, that person must have done something wrong in a bad life. And scientists will say the negative very readily. I'm not picking on scientists, but I'm saying any person kind of says, oh, we get if we have a bad attitude, and we tell our children, you're going to end up having a very bad day if you don't change your attitude. Mm-hmm. In addiction programs, we create what we fear is one of the signs on the wall. So we get it to the negative, yet we have a hard time accepting that it works to the positive, and yet it does. And this shows in a very small way, Zorina, that it does work, and it works in ways that we're probably not even conscious to in most times. So I love this story.
Yeah. So I recently read an article about luck. A study was done in a scientific way that mapped the success of successful people, how they reached what their success was based on. And they took into account, I can't quote the entire study, but they took into account education, intelligence, prior finances, and so a range of contributors to success. And what they found out when they ran this model, because it was not a study, it was a computer model that scientists created. They found out that success is largely due to luck. So basically synchronicities. So what is your view on luck? How do you create luck?
That's a surprising finding. I would not have predicted that. That's interesting. Do you know, first of all, let's make sure the definition of luck is, everybody defines it the same way. The way I've always looked at luck was it's an occurrence of which you had no involvement. Even buying a lottery ticket, you had you went and bought the lottery ticket, but the fact that you bought a lottery ticket and then you win, that's kind of luck, right? I think that's good luck for some people. It's actually bad luck for other people, but I think that's luck. Whereas I call it good fortune means that I've done something, I've done something to help create that success. Now, I would have said before you said that story that I think the success is a result of good fortune. There are some people that are luck, but I will think that I think luck would not be contributed the way I define it. And here's the reason why. You would think that winning more than $1 million in a lottery is luck. And you would think it's good luck, and that person's good luck. But the number of people that win the lottery, that their life gets totally destroyed after it happens, it's astronomical. I've heard anything from 82 to 92% of the people that win the
Yeah.
lottery bankrupt.
No, they lose it within 5 years, 80%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So to me, the lottery is the closest thing to luck. There's other examples, but in this example, that's what I tried to think of. And if that turns out to be, bad luck, I don't know how to plan my life around that. What that means is don't worry about anything. You're either going to get it or you're not going to get it. And so no use buying a book that's going to help you. No use talking to somebody who think they can help you, because your outcome is going to be determined by just chance. Mm-hmm. I'd like to think we all have something to do with it. And I'd like to say that I think if I redefined luck and said fortune, if I looked at that and said, I am not a victim of my life, I'm not a passenger, I'm a driver, to me it feels better. If you say you're luck, you're just a passenger, and let's just hope it's good luck, not bad luck. Do you accept that, or what do you think about my response?
I love it. I think that the word luck that they used is, of course, derived from the computerized model that they used. But my definition of luck is actually something that you've attracted in your life. You call it good fortune, but I call it also a synchronicity. It's something that you vibrated in. So whether you call it luck, which is a simplistic definition, like if you look at if you relate it to a lottery ticket, or whether you call it good fortune, which is of course the better framing, you've attracted it.
Well said. You're right, because you could send the right vibration and then a lucky thing happens. Well, was it luck, or was it the fact that you emit a different vibration? Call it luck if you want, but ultimately, if you choose your vibration, which I hope that most people think they can change their vibration, then you create your luck.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you seem to be in a very soul-satisfying path in your life. Do you think you found your purpose in life?
Yes, I'm always open to making sure that I'm the right path. I'm definitely in a path in the right direction. There's going to be forks, and I'm going to be very alert to those, because I think that things do appear. But I'm at the point now where I know, what fills my soul. I mean, even right now talking about it, I can feel a glow right here, because watching and seeing people that were struggling with something before overcome that. Even, touches me when people struggle with it and they can't let go of it and they ultimately fail. I mentioned not everybody succeeds. It still touched me in the heart when I talk to somebody. We have a couple of calls and they say, Mike, it just doesn't work because I can't buy into, I can't let go of the past, or I can't do something. And I call it the persistent butt mics. And if after a couple of calls there's still more butt mics, it means, gosh, maybe this program just doesn't resonate with you, but still it touches me here. So whether it's success or failure is not how I judge. It's how it makes me feel in my heart when I work with people. And so, yeah, I'm on exactly the right path. And I'm really curious, because there may be forks in the road, whatever, that they may turn left or they won't turn left or right. They're going to turn a little angle and a little angle, but I am definitely going the right path, and it feeds my soul. It's just really been fun. And I'm in a part of my life where, there's a phrase that said, emotions are crucial, but gratitude is the king of all emotions. And so I always want to make sure that I'm feeling gratitude, which I don't always do, but I remind myself, when you're in gratitude, you're in it. You're in the highest vibration you can have. So thank you for saying that, because I feel like I am in a place where I can emit gratitude, most of the time in my life, and I just love it.
Oh, I can feel your positivity and your excitement about it. Do you have the formula for other people? Their purpose?
What I do is we dust off what's already in them. I truly believe, I can't say that everybody's supposed to be a certain way or not, because again, it's pretty complicated analysis, but I can say, if we work together and we dust off this tablet inside that has that formula, I've got the process. I guarantee the process will work if the person embraces it and if they're the right person for the program. Guarantee it. But it's really dusting off what is inside of them and saying, if you take your superpowers and you spend more time on doing more superpowers, not only do you feel good and you get that warm feeling in your heart, not only your brain, it actually grows, and neuroscientists will tell you you're creating new connections, you're glowing and flowing in different ways than you've ever done. But you simply will find that it's not that hard. You have the formula inside you. You're just blocking it with your old programming. So you write a new program that reinforces the things that your new superpowers are going to do for you. And to me, that's a formula for anybody.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mike, for your time, for your wisdom. And people can find you on Why Not You by Mike Amato on Facebook, and also soon on HealnLearn.com, where they can get in personal touch with you for a consultation, which is, I'm really grateful for that, that you've agreed to join the platform and to help my viewers as well.
Hey, absolutely willing to. And gosh, Zorina, anything I can do to support you and what you're doing at any time, happy to do it. And thank you for letting me come and speak with you. You have good questions, and you really brought a lot out in me today that I didn't know was inside me before we started talking. So well done to you.
We're going to get some more out next time we speak, which is hopefully not going to be far away from now.
Agreed.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mike. And I'm just going to make a quick announcement before we finish this call. On the 20th of September, I'm starting a group coaching program called Quest for Meaning, Start a Business. And it's going to be a completely holistic approach on starting a business for small companies or for people that have no idea what their business idea is. So we're really going to start looking at the core of people. We're going to have a few sessions on energy and manifestation, how this works, a few sessions on mindset, on relationships, on psychology in general, on self-confidence to start a business. And then we're going to go into life vision, purpose, matching the purpose that you have to the market, designing a business model, and then go to top MBA approaches on really shaping a profitable business model, designing strategy operations. And I'm going to have some top experts join here and there during the process of the group coaching, and maybe Mike will be one of them.
Zorina, I know this is just your announcement to your viewers, but I'm going to say I hope your viewers pay attention to this, because it's a super holistic program, and it's actually helping right where it's needed. You're starting with the mindset stuff, but you get really into the pragmatic things. And when I look at small businesses, and as a bank, we funded a lot of small businesses, they need exactly the type of input and advice you're going to give them. They couldn't get a better program than what you're going to share with them. And so I hope they're listening and paying attention to this, because it's going to be a big program and a big offer.
I'll get back to the viewers later with an expanded description of what exactly it's going to be. But for now, you can head to HealnLearn.com in section Home Study and read a bit more. Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a lovely day in Seattle.
Thank you very much. You too. Take care.
Bye.